Hey guys, welcome to the 3-day video training series on how to get the right butts and seats for your live event. I am Shatoya Antwine, event planner and event marketer at A La Carte Galore Agency, and I help service-based entrepreneurs plan, promote, and profit from live events. So my philosophy is that events are an integral part of being able to succeed in entrepreneurship. So if you are a business owner, it is pretty much non-negotiable for you to be hosting events for your business. Events are also essential to being able to increase your profits within your business. So it's very easy for you to make anywhere from 4 to 5 to 6 figures from a live event. So let's say that you are hosting an event and it's priced at $9.97 and you're able to get 25 people to register and sell out. That's an easy $25,000 that you are able to make for your business. Events are also very important for you to be able to increase your visibility as well as your credibility. And we'll talk a little bit about that in the day one session. I have also found that a lot of people think that they can just hire an event planner and that's going to sell their event out. So the thing is, you don't necessarily need an event planner to sell out your event. The event planner is basically there to help you as far as organizing, making sure that the event is planned well, making sure that you're able to find a venue and the vendors and everything flows from start to finish. However, they are not concerned about whether or not you are selling tickets for your event. They aren't really concerned about if you're able to get butts and seats for your event and if they're the right butts and seats for your event. So that's why it's really important to have event marketing strategies and have an event marketing plan. And if you're able to actually hire an event marketer. So I have found that event marketing is often overlooked by a lot of entrepreneurs who are pretty much overwhelmed trying to DIY the process of planning their event and they have no sound direction. So we'll get into you being able to not only plan and host events that are successful and profitable, but making sure that they're also beneficial for your business. So day one session is know your why. So know your why. So why is that important when it comes to being able to plan events for your business? So workshops, conferences, and live events are very beneficial for small businesses. The issue is that you have to know why you're hosting an event if you want it to be successful. So the key to being able to find that out is being able to clarify what your why is. So you being able to know what your why is helps you to be able to plan a purposeful event. I have been to a lot of events and people are just hosting events because they have found that one, it's a trend, or two, that it is very important for them to host it in their business, but they aren't really gaining anything from it and it's not beneficial for their business and it's also not beneficial to their audience, right? So making sure that you are clarifying what your why is. And once you know what your why is, that'll help you to be able to solve some major decision making when it comes to planning your event. It'll make the planning process a lot easier and it'll also help you to be able to service your audience. So a lot of times people are hosting events and the events aren't exactly what their audience needs and they're wondering why their events aren't beneficial for their audience or for their business, right? So you have to make sure that you're serving the right people when you're hosting these events, hence the fact of being able to get the right butts and seats for your event, right? So that's why a lot of events are failing because they are lacking purpose. So we'll get into the benefits of why it's important for you to know your why and how this is going to help you throughout the planning process. So one, you have to be able to realize that your expertise can really help other people. So you're very strong in some areas within your business or just knowledge base that some people don't have that experience in. So they're struggling in one particular area in their business and you're an expert in it, so you have the solution for it. So they have a problem and they're looking for a solution and you're the solution. So that's why it's really important for you to get out and host these events so that you can not only reach people. I know a lot of people think that, oh, well, I can just be an online entrepreneur, but hosting events is really, really important because you're able to get out in the face of your audience. You're able to have a hands-on learning experience with them. So I always have a favorite quote that I use all the time in business and even in my personal life as well. And it's basically, the longer you take to do what God has called you to do, the longer you're going to hold someone else up from their success. So you're struggling and trying to figure out why you need to be hosting events, or what type of events are you going to be hosting, and what's going to be most beneficial to your audience. Well, once you figure out what your expertise is and you know what your audience is struggling in, then you're on the road to being able to host events because you have that expertise knowledge base, and that's what they're looking for to get to the next level within their business. So take a few moments and think about what your specific expertise is. So for me, I am not only an event planner, but I am also an event marketer. So a lot of times when you go to hire an event planner, they may not have any experience within event marketing. So that's my specialty. I'm not only able to help you plan successful events, but also making sure that you're able to profit from them, that you're able to fill seats with the right people and have a signature event that's going to continue to be able to scale your business on an ongoing basis. So that's what my specialty is. My specialty is event marketing for service-based entrepreneurs. So that sets me apart. So if you're a product-based entrepreneurs, then that's not the target audience that I target, right? So I'm really focused on being able to help service-based entrepreneurs. So service-based entrepreneurs include anyone who offers a service for their business. A lot of my clients are online entrepreneurs. They are authors, they are coaches and consultants, thought leaders, influencers, and podcast hosts, just to give you an example of what service-based is. So I'm very specific on the people that I served and how I'm able to help them. So you can figure out this by asking yourself, like, what questions do your audience or your clients or potential customers pretty much come to you and ask for advice on. So if you're getting questions about the same thing, then it's probably time for you to be able to leap out and host your first live event or workshop, or even hosting one. Maybe it's your second or third time, and maybe the first few may have failed, but now you're able to have this direction and strategies and foundation in order for it to be successful. Another thing you can think about is what's something that you're knowledgeable in that the normal business person isn't, or whoever your target audience is. Like, what's something that you specialize in or that you're very knowledgeable in, and then you can literally talk about off the top of your head and give them advice and strategies on that they may not be as eager or knowledgeable in having that information, right? So this will also help you to be able to determine what your next event is going to be. So what I typically do before I host any type of event, because a lot of times you can host an event that you think that your audience needs, and sometimes 9 times out of 10 is actually not even what they need, right? So go ahead and set some time out to brainstorm on these questions. They are in your workbook for this session, and you can utilize it to start a survey to send out and figure out who your audience is. A lot of times that we think we know who our target audience is, and it's not really who they are, or our target audience may be different from what we may have branched out in the beginning of our business. And it's okay to kind of branch out and figure out what it is, but it's mostly important to know who it is that you're serving and why you're serving them. So before I host any events for my business, I'll send a survey out, or sometimes if I'm struggling on a topic from 3 or 4 topics, I'll put it in a Facebook group and I'll have people to vote on it. So whatever has the highest ratings or the highest votes, then that's what the title of my next or upcoming workshop will be. Because if it's something that they're voting on, and obviously it's something that they need, and they're able to help me to weed out my indecisiveness or pondering on trying to figure out what's best for them. So instead of trying to figure out on your own what's best for them, just go ahead and send the survey out and ask them. So this pretty much allows your audience to be able to plan your next event for you. So number 2, hosting profitable events. A lot of people are hosting events and they're just like, well, I don't really care if I make money from it because it's what I love to do and I'm passionate about it. So if you feel that way, then you don't have a business, you have a hobby. And if you want to keep putting time and energy and tons of money and thousands of dollars into planning events, then hosting profitable events isn't going to be for you. But if you are a business owner and you know that you're able to increase your profits from events, then this is going to be really, really key, because it helps you to be able to create a new stream of income for your business. It also helps you with being able to have little to no overhead costs for your event. So in order to be able to do this, you have to figure out budget-friendly venues for your space. So typically when planning an event, the most expensive expense that you're going to have is finding a venue. I have had clients that have come to me and they're like, well, I rented out a hotel for my event and I had to book a minimum of a book a minimum of 150 people and I was only able to get 30 people to register. So now they were stuck paying thousands of dollars because they weren't able to meet the minimum. So it's really, really important for you to be able to find events that are one, venue spaces that are one, budget friendly, or two, they are actually at no cost to you. So all of my events that I've hosted this year, I have not had to pay a venue price for it. So I was able to partner with the spaces and be able to get the venue spaces for free. So that's really, really important. So being able to cut down on your overhead costs and finding budget friendly venues. Another thing is once you start to host events for your business, it'll become a little bit easier for you to figure out all of the details, all of the pricing, and you're really pretty much able to just continue to reuse that same model. Some people are hosting events and they're literally starting over from start to finish each time, and it's completely stressing them out and it's creating more work for them than they actually anticipated. So one, being able to figure out what your model is so that you aren't starting over each event. And then the solution for that is being able to create a structure and reuse that model for all of the events that you host going forward. So going back to some other major costs, so we want to host events that are profitable, so we have to figure out what our highest expenses are and try to work backwards from that. So one of the major costs with planning events or executing an event is branding collateral. So as far as the printing goes, the signage, the banners, so one solution to that is one, just going digital. Don't worry about printing out workbooks and pamphlets. Just go ahead and make it digital. Make sure that it's fillable and editable so they are able to go ahead and type the information in on their computers or their laptops or their iPad, and they can go ahead and save that and it's a PDF format and they're able to access it all the time, and that saves you on cost as well. Another thing that you can utilize as far as the branding collateral goes when it comes to signage and banners, if you do choose to do that, it's absolutely fine. It helps with the appeal of the event. It also helps you out from a branding standpoint. But in order for it to be profitable for you, one, you don't want to keep hosting events and you have to keep getting signage printed, you have to keep getting banners printed. What you can do is go ahead and reuse those same signage and banners, especially if this is a signature event. You know that the title is going to be the same each and every time. But what you don't want to do is put any dates on the event. So if you put a date on the signage for the event or any of the branding collateral and banners, then you won't be able to use it for future events, right? You don't want to be hosting an event in 2020 and you still have dates on it from 2017. So that's really important. Some other expenses that a lot of people spend so much time on, they spend so much money on, they spend so much planning on, and they focus on these things more than they focus on the content of their events. So catering, centerpieces, decor, flower walls, sweets tables, cakes, all of the pretty stuff. When you're hosting an event for your business, that is not important. People want to walk away with being able to share the content and the experience that they got from you, rather than saying, oh, she had the best food for her event, she had a very cute flower wall, we took lots of pictures. That's not the purpose of your event. Now granted, depending on the type of your event, let's say you're doing a dinner party or you're doing some type of luncheon, then maybe some of those things will be beneficial to your event and you will absolutely need them. You don't want to host a luncheon and obviously there's no food, but just making sure that you're very smart about it. Catering is such a huge expense. I have done events and it's literally been tens of thousands of dollars just spent on food. And people are walking away from the event and it's like they aren't getting any content, or the event has tons of speakers and they're only speaking from anywhere from 25 to 30 minutes. And we all know that you can't have a life-changing experience within your business with just getting something for 20 minutes of time space, right? So that's really, really important. So being conscious of where you're allocating your expenses to, I would rather you put $3,000 into marketing your event than $3,000 into making sure that your attendees have food for an event. I have planned tons of conferences and I have actually attended conferences where the food was not included. So we had the option to be able to go out on our lunch break and you can mix and mingle and network with the other participants and the attendees of the conference, and you go out and you buy your own lunch and you have 2 hours or an hour and you come back. So don't feel the need that you have to go out and have all of these lavish centerpieces and fancy linen and decor and flower walls and sweet tables. It's all good and pretty, but you have to think about what your audience is here for, and they're here to get content so that they can have a life-changing experience for their business. The next thing is being able to establish yourself and your niche. So this is super important. So I've been able to establish myself because one, I have experience with event planning and event marketing, and a lot of event planners don't have that experience. And then two, I service-based entrepreneurs, teaching them how to get the right people in seats for their event. So anybody can just go and fill seats with their aunts and cousins and friends, but that's not really beneficial to you as a business owner, and it's obviously not beneficial to your target market or your target audience because you aren't necessarily reaching them, right? So establish yourself and your niche will help you to be able to increase your credibility, and this will be a trickling effect that'll go so far in your business, and we'll get into that now. So one, if you're able to establish yourself, you'll be known as the expert. So this will help you to be set apart from those who are just serving general audiences or those who are doing something similar to you. If you are specializing in something very specific, then you're able to reach your target audience immediately. So let's say, for example, the difference between doctors and specialists, right? So your primary care physician may be able to help you or diagnose specific things with you regarding your health, but if you have heart problems or respiratory problems, you aren't just going to go to your primary physician, and they probably won't even accept you at one point, right? But it's important for you to be able to go to a specialist because that's what they specialize in, and they're able to help you with your problem and to provide you with strategies and solutions to get to where you want to be specifically within your business. Another thing is that it helps you to be able to increase your following. So everybody wants to increase their following. The thing is, a lot of people think that, oh, I have to have hundreds of thousands of followers in order for me to be able to get clients or in order for me to be able to sell out events, right? And that's absolutely not true. Your following is not based on whether or not you're going to be able to have a successful or a profitable event, right? So I have had clients who have tens of thousands of followers, and we still had to put in months of work in order to be able to get people in seats for their event. So don't get so stuck on what your following is currently. You still can sell events out even if you only have a couple hundred followers. But the important thing is once you are able to establish yourself in your niche, then you will be able to increase your following. It'll help you to be able to reach the right people, and obviously for an event standpoint, being able to get the right people in seats for your event. Once you are able to do that, that will allow your attendees to be able to vouch for you, right? So it's not just you marketing your event and trying to sell people that you're great at what you do. Now you've been able to have people to purchase tickets to your event. They've been able to get the full experience. They've been able to get the content and the knowledge that it is that you're teaching. And now they're going to go and tell other people. So let's say, for example, when you go to a good restaurant, what do? You go and tell all your family and friends about it, and they go to it. So that's the same thing in how it works in your business as far as being able to host events. Once you host a great, successful, purposeful, and profitable event, your attendees are going to vouch for you. They're going to tell other people, and that in turn is going to help you to be able to make more money in your business. It's going to help you to bring in more clients, and it's going to help you to be able to obviously create more profits, right? Another thing that it can help you do is to be able to lead to more speaking engagements. So of course live events are great for your business, but being able to step it up a notch and not just speaking at your own events, but now people are seeing that you're an expert in your industry and they want to bring you on for their events. So being able to increase your credibility will help you to be able to land speaking engagements. So what you can do is you can start to put this on your website so that people can know that you're open and available to speak in, and letting them know what topics you're speaking on. So this is why it was important when we talked about in the beginning, knowing your why. What is it that you specialize in? What is it that you're an expert in? What is it that your audience continues to keep coming to you for? So once you know that, you're able to pick out a couple topics. You can put those on your website. So now when people are searching for someone who specializes in event marketing for service-based entrepreneurs and they're searching or Googling, you will come up and they will reach out to you and you'll be able to land those speaking engagements. Or you're able to go ahead and pitch events and actually be able to speak at those. In turn, you being able to host your own events and then landing speaking engagements will also allow you to be able to branch out to other types of live events. So imagine being able to speak at retreats and bigger conferences, training camps and boot camps, and also being keynote speakers at events, right? So that's pretty awesome. And if you don't know by now, there is a ton of money in speaking, right? So you can have a speaking engagement and be a keynote speaker for $10,000. So you're literally getting up in front of an audience, speaking on what you're passionate about, speaking about what you love for 30 minutes, for 45 minutes, for an hour, and someone is paying you $10,000 to do that, or $5,000, or $1,000, or $1,500, right? So that's why it's really important for you to start hosting events so that you're able to build your credibility. So the first step to planning an event is obviously deciding on what your why is. So what I want you to do is take some time to go ahead and write out your statement. Be very specific. I've already shared with you guys what I specialize in: event planning and event marketing, specifically for service-based entrepreneurs. And what am I doing? I'm helping them to be able to fill seats with the right people at their event, which will in turn help them to increase their profits, help them to increase their visibility, as well as their credibility. So go ahead and take some time to write that statement out. Go ahead and spend some time drafting out your survey and then finalizing who your target audience is. So once you have done all of that, so you have 3 steps to do: writing out your statement, getting your survey together, and determining what your target audience is. So once you have completed those steps, go ahead and shoot me an email. I want this to be as hands-on as possible. I don't want you going out into the event space and the event field and you're pretty much blindsided. So I'm giving you the first key steps that you need in order for your event to be successful. So go ahead and answer those 3 things, take some time, and go ahead and shoot me an email on what you have decided. And even if you have any questions, go ahead and shoot me an email and I'll be sure to reply. See you for day 2 of the next session.